All right, we should be live, good to go. Kick is crashing. I don't know what's going on there. Never had issues with Kick. First time, though. We have quite a few pieces of news to go over before we head into question period. A lot of things going on. It just never fucking stops. First things first. 3 more vessels hit by projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz, showing merchant ships remaining in firing line. Apparently, a Thailand-flagged cargo ship was hit in the Strait of Hormuz. 3 more vessels have been hit by unknown projectiles. If I had to guess, most likely drones, as they are the cheapest, and they have just been pumping them out constantly. I believe the average drone is like $10,000 to $20,000, at least the ones they are using. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have warned that any ships passing through will be a target. So I don't know what's really going on there. It does appear Trump said something. The stock market recovered for a day. Oil prices dropped. Iran hits more ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Stock drops. Oil prices will most likely rise again. This is going to be potentially a bit of a cat and mouse situation here, as Iran just continues to attack ships while Trump and the US and Israel or whatever are trying to secure that area, along with the UAE. The UAE is right there. So they are obviously not happy with this as well. Based on this photo, you can see they're actually being evacuated off of that vessel. That's what there's ladders going down, little flotation rafts. I'm surprised this ship in the back, the little orange emergency raft, didn't drop down as well, but whatever, shit happens, obviously, in the heat of the moment. But that's what you have going on in the Strait of Hormuz. More ships being hit. Now, we're going to head over to some Canadian news. We have a NDP MP crossing the floor to the Liberal Party, and it's quite obvious why.
Moving ahead, we have Lori Idlut of the NDP crossing the floor to the Liberals. What's in it for her? Another project for her community? Is it a big payout? Is she getting an advisor role from the Liberal Party? What's in it for her? That's the question here.
We have breaking news tonight. The NDP says Nunavut MP Lori Idlut has decided to cross the floor and will join the Liberal government. That puts Mark Carney just 2 seats shy of a majority, with by-elections about a month away. Idlut has represented Nunavut since 2021. Earlier this year, she told CBC News she had been asked to join the Liberals, but could not do so at the time. Marina von Stackelberg joins us now from Ottawa. Marina, what do we know so far?
Well, 3 senior Liberal sources tell CBC News that Lori Idlut is going to be joining their party. They confirmed the news tonight. First broke late this evening by the NDP themselves. NDP leader Don Davies releasing a statement saying, "We're very disappointed that Lori Idlut has decided to join the Liberal caucus. In a democracy, something as important as the choice of party representation in Parliament must always remain with our constituents. We believe that should happen here." Now, we have reached out to Idlut. She has not confirmed herself the move. We've reached out and have not received a response. Now, this is a big win for Carney. Idlut brings him to 170 seats in the House of Commons, just 2 seats shy of a majority. And as you mentioned,
Carney's just secured his majority. Let's just call it as it is. He has 2 safe ridings that he's going to win for sure. Now, the question is if he gets Terrebonne, then he can keep his speaker. If he doesn't get Terrebonne, then he doesn't get to keep his speaker, and then it'll be a non-Liberal speaker, which Carney doesn't want.
there are 3 by-elections coming up. 2 of them considered Liberal safe seats. So those alone could bring Carney to a majority government.
And Marina, this is a big blow for the NDP.
Yeah, a huge hit. Right now, they were sitting at 7 MPs. With Idlout leaving, that brings them down to 6. There have been rumors that Quebec MP Alexander Boulerice may be considering leaving the party to join provincial politics.
The NDP might completely collapse and disappear off the face of the earth. What they needed to do is get a new leader in much quicker. Months ago, 6 months ago, I was saying this last year, they needed a...
So I would just like to interrupt this and say if the stream randomly cuts off, it's because the power went out. There's a heavy storm system coming through right now. Heavy rainfall. No heavy winds, but lots of rain. So if for some reason it goes out, that is why. The storm system is hitting my area pretty hard.
A leader much faster. They could have capitalized on the situation or rebuilt the party. Instead, they're twiddling their thumbs here, taking forever, giving all the power to Mark Carney. And what did they do? They offered her something, and now she's jumped ship. What did they offer her? Is there another advisory role? Is she getting a trip over to Norway? Is she joining Carney? Is she a cold weather expert that will be going up there with him?
This is a party trying to rebuild after last spring's worst election showing in the NDP's history. They are in the midst of a leadership race right now. Voting began this week. They have a convention at the end of the month where they will pick that new leader. I was actually at an NDP campaign event in Ottawa just less than a week ago, and Lori Idlout was there. It was for candidate Avi Lewis. She was up on stage. She didn't come out and actually full-on endorse him, but she spoke very positively of him, and she said that she was nervous about speaking, saying that MPs have so much influence, and she was nervous about her influence.
And then why is she even there? Why represent your community if you can't speak?
Influence.
They're all snakes. They're all snakes.
Fully at play now. There had been rumors in Ottawa that she was considering joining the Liberals, but she had said that she would not cross at this point when asked about it in January. This really is the Liberals successfully now pulling off 4 floor crossings, 3 Conservatives, and now the NDP, showing that the Carney government is eating away at both sides, from the right and now from the left, very effectively.
Yeah, because there's no law against...
At this point, here's what I feel like is going to happen. The NDP, they're nothing, and they've been nothing. But the party is going to either disband completely, we're going to see MPs retire, we're going to see more floor crossings, or 2 or 3 NDP members are going to hold on to that power as it just dwindles away. They don't even have any power. They literally have nothing. So whatever is left of the remnants of that party, they're just going to be grasping at the final straws to try and grab any sort of gain, I don't know, politically for themselves maybe, whatever the case is. But the NDP they're cooked. They've been cooked since the election, since Jagmeet threw it away years and years ago. Well, not years and years ago, but a couple years ago. You get the point nonetheless. Anyway, moving on, we have this right here. This is crazy, happening a few hours ago. U.S. Secret Service investigating after van drives through White House barricade.
We have some breaking news to report on this Wednesday, and take a look at this. A very active scene just outside of the White House over in Washington, D.C. This live feed courtesy of our partners at Fox 5 in D.C., and apparently a van has driven through a barricade just outside of the White House. We're waiting here for the photographer on the ground to reposition themselves and hopefully get a closer look here at this scene once again, as we are also seeing law enforcement clearing out what looks to be that crime scene tape just to prevent people from driving through this entire area. But you can see there a lot of those law enforcement vehicles still in the area, some of them driving around. It could be that they are possibly clearing this. But our team in D.C. following this closely, and they say this: a Secret Service investigation is underway near the White House after officials say a van drove through a barricade early Wednesday morning. This is what we know so far. The Metropolitan Police and Secret Service responded to the vicinity of the White House around 6:30 a.m. after a van drove through a barricade at Connecticut Avenue and H Street. The driver of the van was apprehended, and according to police, no injuries have been reported. And there you can see that very active scene that I just mentioned moments ago.
That happened this morning. I think there's more footage of it here.
Exactly where this scene is. We're actually at Vermont and H, not Connecticut and H, and you can see indeed there is a vehicle here that appears to have crashed through the metal barricades right here. This is basically Madison Place and H. Madison is what takes you right toward the White House complex, and behind where this vehicle is where they're doing some of that construction in that area where they had demolished some of the ballroom for the White House, I believe. And so we don't know exactly why this vehicle was here. It looks to be a black Ford Edge. I can't quite tell what license plate, what state that's from. There is a license plate cover on it that looks to have an American flag on the top. And it does sort of appear like there's some rear end damage to this Ford Edge as well. You see the door open. We can tell you that Secret Service say that it was about 6:37 in the morning when the vehicle drove through the barricades. No reported injuries, and they say the operator was apprehended, that they called it a suspicious vehicle. The driver of the car detained and has been questioned. The streets were closed down around the area for quite some time, but those have all reopened, and pedestrian access is also reopening as well while this investigation continues. And this is only one of 2 incidents that happened this morning. There was another suspicious vehicle and suspicious package about 3 miles from here in Southeast on New Jersey Avenue and E Streets that United States Capitol Police had to respond to this morning as well, telling everyone to shelter in place until it was clear. So again, we don't know what happened here, what the motivation was, but it is all just indicative of a very strong security stance that is happening around the city right now, given the events that are happening, the war going on.
This is actually wild. Like this shit's happening, not obviously driving through barricades, but crazy events like this are happening almost every single day now. Last week, a guy wearing a certain shirt that was praising like ISIS or some sort of whatever went up to a bar and, you know, did what he did, murdered a bunch of people. Then we had the NYC event where they were throwing IEDs at officers and the counter protest, whatever was going on there, Jake Lang, etc. Regardless, that was another crazy situation that literally happened like 3 days ago. Now we have a car drives through the barricade, another suspicious package is found. I don't know at this point. I really don't know at this point. If there's sleeper cells, there you go. They might be waking up one after another.
This is a methodical, deliberate campaign to destroy Iran's missile and drone arsenal, its ability to manufacture them in the future, to ever have nuclear weapons, or to threaten the Strait of Hormuz. And President Trump has been crystal clear, we will not allow a radical, revolutionary regime in Iran to threaten one of the world's most strategic and vital
its
waterways.
largest oil storage facility there.
Now, if you recall, Oman was involved in trying to broker negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. The U.S. responded to that by focusing on the Strait of Hormuz, destroying more than a dozen Iranian mine-laying boats and weighing naval escorts for American commercial ships, as Iran calls them legitimate targets.
The very reason President Trump is having to do what we're doing is because they have threatened to close this strait time and time again and held American hostages. Lots more work to do, and when we do, we'll get the strait reopened. We'll do so safely, and we will have punished an Iranian regime that has taken so much toll on American life for so very long.
Fox News team coverage kicks off right now. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin is standing by.
But first, our chief foreign correspondent, Trey Inks, is live in Tel Aviv for us to kick off the hour. Trey?
John Sandra, good afternoon. Reports indicate Israel is bracing for an uptick in Iranian fire tonight.
Hold on, guys. It looks like we might have a strike here.
But now intel camps. Oh, we just saw a strike. Hold on, I just saw a strike. Strike right now. Strike right now in Beirut. Some sort of strike. I'll rewind it for you. That's happening right now. I just saw a big flash light up. Hold on. So I'm going to rewind this for a second. Watch this. This just happened. This just happened right now, moments ago. Watch this. Right where I was like, see that? Look at the right. Look at the right. Look on the right. Looks like a new airstrike in Beirut against Hezbollah by Israel.
So there you go. Literally right now. That just happened moments ago in Beirut.
Overnight, there were more missiles launched at this country, although fewer at a time, given the fact that the United States and Israeli planes continued to go after these launching positions inside of Iran. You can see in this video here some of those interceptions taking place over Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv, sending millions of people below into bomb shelters. Those planes that are taking out these launching positions being flown by pilots that are stationed just outside of Tel Aviv. Israel's chief of staff, Eyal Zamir, met with some of those pilots today, encouraging them to continue striking Iranian targets alongside.
So statements by members is currently underway. We'll run this for another 5-8 minutes, maybe.
Their American counterparts. As all of this is taking place, Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, has a new update on the success of the operation.
The IDF, together with our partner, is carrying out an impressive and systemic operation targeting regime personnel themselves, the Revolutionary Guards, and the Basij. Many thousands have been killed, and because they are shutting down the internet, they are concealing it.
The Israelis looking east, but they're also looking north to the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. You can see in these strikes here massive explosions in the Dakhia neighborhood of southern Beirut. This is where Hezbollah is launching a lot of their command and control operations from. And even as we speak now, there are alerts coming in northern Israel as Hezbollah launches more rockets over the border. Israeli ground troops are all pushing into defensive positions in northern Israel, actually moving deep into southern Lebanon. Some artillery units here along the border being used to target Hezbollah positions just across the border. Now today, shifting back to the Iranian capital of Tehran, some interesting images here. You can see funerals that were held. All of the people in the streets here, these are pro-regime demonstrators in support of the new supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, the son of him, Mujtaba Khamenei. And it's important to note here, we're not seeing any of the anti-regime protesters in the streets of Tehran over fears about a crackdown, and a new statement today from a security official in the capital of Tehran saying this.
If someone comes to the streets at the request of the enemy, we do not see them as protesters or anything like that. We see them as enemies, and we will deal with them as we would with the enemy. All our children are ready to fire.
Ready to fire. Those are the remarks that you are hearing even today from Iranian officials as they are getting hammered by U.S. and Israeli strikes. We expect these strikes to ramp up in the hours and days ahead. Earlier today, U.S. Central Command indicating that each and every hour there are U.S. jets over the skies of Iran striking targets. John, Sandra?
Heaping helping of propaganda from the Iranians there, Trey, I would venture to say. Thanks so much for the update. Appreciate it. Sandra?
John, now to our chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin. She's live from Washington with the latest in the U.S. military's posture. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Sandra. Well, President Trump can say he is ordering the military to open the Strait of Hormuz, but experts say it may not be that easy. It is a slow and tedious process to demine the strait if the IRGC Navy lays mines, which the president says they have not done so far. But more importantly, Iran has thousands of drones and anti-ship missiles that can threaten ships, as well as some submarines that can hide at the bottom of the seabed near the 2-mile opening. Iran claimed responsibility for firing 2 projectiles at container ships. A third was seen on fire today at the mouth of the strait. Its crew had to abandon the ship. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs was cautious when asked whether the U.S. Navy had been tasked by the president to escort tankers through the strait, which is easier said than done because the Iranians can literally drop a few mines at a time off the back of small Dow boats. And any U.S. destroyer that would escort an oil tanker is a large target for the Iranian Shahed drones.
If tasked to escort, we'll look at the range of options to set the military conditions to be able to do that. And like we always do with every potential mission, come to the Secretary and the President with both what are the resources required, what is the command and control required, and what are the risks, and how do we mitigate those risks.
Last night, CENTCOM announced it had blown up 16 Iranian mine-laying boats, but the Iranians have more, and those 50 naval warships that CENTCOM has sunk were part of Iran's Blue Navy, not the IRGC Navy, whose small, fast boats can threaten the strait.
Okay, so you got that. I was talking about those cargo ships that got hit earlier. Looks like we have more footage here. Matt Morris just went live.
Brazen and aggressive like we have yet to see so far. Look at those locations. It's out of this world. Now, we've got photos and videos, like I said. Iranian projectiles struck at least 3 cargo vessels over the last 24 hours in the Strait of Hormuz. Thailand's Navy from Thailand reported that most of the crew of a Thailand-flagged bulk carrier, well, they were evacuated after the vessel caught fire off the coast of Oman after being struck by Iranian projectiles. Good Lord. A Japanese-flagged container ship was also hit by an unknown projectile off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. We were just looking at that one there. Security sources said the vessel sustained minor damage, but the crew was unharmed, thank God, and the ship was heading towards a safe anchorage. Back to the port. Another bulk carrier flying the flag of the Marshall Islands was also struck by a projectile and suffered slight damage. Officials said the crew of the vessel was safe and well, and no environmental damage was reported. I mean, listen, if these tanker vessels, which are generally speaking full of oil, if they blow up, then yeah, we're talking about environmental catastrophe, oil getting everywhere. So God forbid something like that happens. You can't help but think back to the BP oil spill, whatever that was, a decade ago or more at this point, maybe 15 years ago. We've got more videos and photos here. Breaking news, Iran strikes a Thai ship attempting to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, folks, this was that ship that was right in the middle. This is the one that was attempting to go through the strait. And they hit this one hard, I hate to say it. Thai authorities said the bulk carrier, it was called the Mayuri Nari, sailing under the Thailand flag, was struck by projectiles while traveling about 18 kilometers right in the middle of the strait, north of Oman. Now, look at that. They blew a hole right in the side of that damn thing. And you can see this. And so people, wow, that's a lot of damage. You're going to need more than Flex Seal.
Holy. Wow. That's a problem. You could say that's a problem.
To fix this one. Now, excuse me here. We've had people speculating all day. Was this like a torpedo? Was this an Iranian cruise missile? Was this a Shahed drone? Was this an Iranian ballistic missile? Was it, Lord, I hope not, was it a naval mine? We've been hearing a lot about naval mines from the Iranians. Allegedly, they're deploying the naval mines. Well, I actually have an answer for you later on in today's broadcast. Right now, people have been speculating all morning.
I'm going to be honest. I thought they were done, but clearly not. Clearly, they're going on for round 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I don't know who's left to be calling these kinds of orders, but clearly somebody is still around, or they're just in small bands doing whatever they can. There's also Hezbollah still in Lebanon, but I don't know how close Lebanon is to the actual strait there. I guess if they're launching drones, it doesn't matter. There was a strike in Beirut. Roughly 10 minutes ago. Looks like things are in full swing. Trump did say the war was going to be over soon, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Question period. Still statements by members. Should be starting soon. I have no idea if Carney or Pierre will be there. It looks like the liberals are all wearing pink.
I'm thinking of Kim Buten from Sherbrooke, who earned 6 Olympic medals and is tied for the most decorated female Canadian athlete in the history of the Winter Olympic Games. I would also like to pay tribute to Lynn Marie Bilodeau, the youngest athlete at the Beijing Paralympics, who won 3 gold medals at the Canada Games. Through these women, we celebrate all women. Their triumphs and their ambitions are our own.
The honourable member for Abbotsford South Langley.
Canada cannot control what happens abroad, but the Liberals do control the policies here at home that are making life more expensive. Under the Liberals, Canada tops the G7 in food inflation and is the only shrinking economy. And the most vulnerable Canadians are the ones that are left to pay the price. 1 in 5 Canadians over 50 are now living in conditions comparable to the poverty line. After years of Liberal deficits and rising taxes, the seniors of Abbotsford South Langley, the very people who helped build this country, are struggling to afford basic needs. Yet the Prime Minister is pushing ahead with his rebranded carbon tax, the Clean Fuel Standard, and his industrial carbon tax, passing higher prices onto those who produce our food and goods, and ultimately onto all Canadians. These costs are imposed here at home, not abroad. When will the Prime Minister take responsibility for the policies he controls and scrap the taxes making life more unaffordable for all Canadians, especially our seniors?
Yes.
The honourable member for Argenteuil-la-Petite-Nation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Welder and pipe fitter. Aujourd'hui, je souligne.
Today, I would like to mark World Plumbing Day, which is celebrated every year on March 11th. This day reminds us of the crucial importance of plumbing to the health, safety, and well-beings of all our communities all throughout the country.
World Plumbing Day gives us the opportunity to recognize the outstanding work of Canada's plumbing professionals, whose expertise ensure that clean water, safe water reach our own businesses and public institutions.
Plumbing professionals play a key role in modernizing our water systems, saving energy, and conserving water. Their commitment and innovation contribute directly to the safety and resilience of our communities.
The plumbing and heating sector is also a major economic driver. It's over 30 billion to Canada GDP and supporting more than 200,000 jobs across the country. Je tiens à remercier.
I offer plumbers a sincere thank you. Your essential work keeps our water systems safe, effective, and sustainable.
The honourable member for Hamilton East, Stony Creek.
Mr. Speaker, there are heroes among us today, and if it were not for them, a life would have been lost. 2 days ago, a member in my office suffered a sudden medical emergency, and in those critical moments, Parliamentary Assistant Elena Yazdani, Constable Maxime Patry-Levine, Constable Sargison, and many other members of the Parliamentary Protective Service acted immediately. Because of their courage, quick thinking, and medical training, a life was saved, and I'm happy to report he is doing very well. In the hospital, the doctor had told me if there was not a defibrillator on site, a tragedy would have occurred. I would like to also thank my colleague from Lanark Frontenac for his endless work on advocating for access to defibrillators. We need more defibrillators in public spaces. Simply put, they save lives. I ask all members of this House to join me in recognizing and thanking the PPS, police, emergency services, and the heroes that we have here today.
The honourable member for Fleetwood, Park Hills.
Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate International...
So it appears that Carney is actually there, believe it or not. I know, it's kind of crazy. So Pierre will most likely be there as well.
They've been firing almost nothing. They can't get it up anymore. Sorry to be a little bit crude. They can barely get these drones in the sky. They can barely get these ballistic missiles up in the air. And the reason why, once again, I think we all know, we have been seeing, and we're gonna really break this down here in a moment to put this into perspective, folks, so bear with me. We have been seeing the United States and Israel, namely predominantly the United States, just blast the living hell out of the IRGC and the Iranian military. This is drone manufacturing facilities, bunker storage facilities, ballistic missile facilities, IRGC headquarters. We're blowing them up. We're blowing the missiles up. We're blowing the drones up and blowing the...
Last month, residents from across Ottawa learned of the loss of the legendary Lowell Green.
Still statements by
Lowell was the voice
members.
of the common people in the Ottawa Valley on CFRA. Day after day, he would fill the airwaves with the truth that no one else had the courage to speak. He was the voice of the hardworking majority that were so often forgotten by those in power. But it wasn't just his radio show that kept people loving him for 5 decades. He also co-founded Big Brothers of Ottawa, so that now it becomes one of the longest standing charities that serves children in the capital. His work led to generations of mentors and mentees, bringing up the next generation. Lowell's dedication also helped raise money for the Help Santa Toy Parade, so everyone would have a gift at Christmas time. He helped save the Centennial Flame, Mr. Speaker, and he raised money for countless other charities. As we join with all of the listeners, the family members and friends, we say rest in peace to the legendary Lowell Green, and may his wonderful legacy live on in the capital and across the country.
The honourable member for Etobicoke Lakeshore.
Mr. Speaker, 5 years ago yesterday, this House adopted a motion declaring March as Irish Heritage Month.
Tactic. And they are warning that their objective is now to drive oil prices up to $200 a barrel. I believe right now oil prices are somewhere around $85, 82, 83, 84, 85, something like that. We'll check it. We're going to talk a lot about oil later on in today's show, but that's their objective. Drive it up to 200. The details of this plan includes Iran says the U.S. will not be able to control oil prices. They also say we won't allow even 1 liter of oil to reach the United States, Israel, or any of its partners. This is coming from an Iranian military spokesperson. Total oil shutdown. They go on to say any vessel or tanker bound to them, to the United States, Israel, or our partners, will also be considered a legitimate target going forward, and we will be firing on them. And in fact, you know what? We've seen a little bit of that earlier today. They also say
they would have to do a lot of damage for it to hit 200 a barrel. I guess it's possible, though. All right, here we go.
I let the honourable member go a little over time, but that's the Irish part of me that allowed that to happen. Oral questions. Questions orales. The honourable leader of the opposition.
Only 2 types of people, those who are Irish and those who wish they were, Mr. Speaker.
The Prime Minister flip-flopped 4 times on Iran, Mr. Speaker. But here, these flip-flops are even worse. The Liberal government is denying a report from Global News that says that there are 700 agents of the Iranian regime that are here in Canada. Yesterday, they admitted that 239 of them have had their visas withdrawn, but only 1 has been removed. So there are about 238 regime agents here in Canada. And when we see terrorist attacks against synagogues and elsewhere, we wonder, will the Prime Minister flip-flop again, or will he explain to us how many agents of the Iranian government are here threatening Canadians? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
200 too many.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a very serious situation. The government has already prevented 10,000 Revolutionary Guard members from this country. There are 170 investigations underway, and as the Minister of Public Safety just said, there are 28 that are currently being reviewed intensively.
The opposition. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister had 4 flip-flops on Iran in just the same number of days. This is a pattern. He's also flip-flopped on oil and gas. He wrote a book called Values, in which he said he wanted to keep 50% of our energy in the ground. He said in that book he wanted to raise carbon taxes. And then he claimed that he had flip-flopped on that, while he's since kept in place every anti-development law that Trudeau passed. He has renamed the carbon tax, and he's brought in an industrial carbon tax that has driven away an $8 billion project. So will he flip-flop again, reverse these liberal policies so that we can actually supply the world with the energy it needs in this critical time?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate receiving this gift on this day honoring Ireland. Canada is increased at record levels our oil exports. Canada has approved under this government Silicim. Canada has approved and started one of the biggest LNG. Canada is working to the lowest carbon LNG and the lowest carbon oil exports in the world. We will maintain and increase our competitive position. We're driving straight forward.
Hear, hear. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, he's driving in circles. He said that he did not want, he wanted to keep 50% of our oil in the ground. He supported blocking the pipeline to the Pacific. He's not approved a single oil pipeline, and his major projects office has not approved a project of any kind. He's just tried to take credit for a project approved by Prime Minister Harper. Next, he'll be trying to claim credit for the Canadian Pacific Railway. So will the Prime Minister flip-flop again? Reverse his support of an industrial carbon tax, the Liberal anti-development laws, and get out of the way so that we can build pipelines to the Pacific, power paychecks for our people.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I said in my book, as it is the policy of this government, we want the lowest risk, the lowest carbon, the lowest cost oil and gas, and that's what makes ours competitive. That's the story of Canadian LNG. That's the story of the MOU with Alberta. That is the story of Bay du Nord. That is how you drive the country forward, not off a cliff like the member opposite.
I'm hearing a little too much of the member for Vernon Lake Country Monastery. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the world cannot put meaningless pieces of paper and meaningless MOUs in their gas tanks. They need real energy that comes out of our ground. Now, the Prime Minister said he wants to keep it in the ground, and yet today we had the hilarious spectacle of the Liberal Natural Resource Minister saying Canada will do what it can to help with its stockpiles for the current energy shortage. Our stockpiles are zero, Mr. Speaker. So will the Prime Minister flip-flop again, adopt my policy that we should have a strategic oil and mineral reserve so that we can supply the world in the future?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, there's many policies of the member opposite I will not adopt. One of them is flip-flopping, jumping around, searching for ridings every election. The second thing I will not adopt is the importance of having the most competitive oil and gas in the world. Our oil exports have never been higher under this government, over 5 million barrels per day, and they will increase because they will be low carbon, low cost, low risk. Hear, hear, hear.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, sometimes he makes it too easy. Today we have zero oil stockpiles. We have a strategic maple syrup stockpile, Mr. Speaker, which the Prime Minister could use to put maple syrup on the pancakes that he flip-flops on. But, Mr. Speaker, we don't have any oil to supply to the world in the time of this crisis. Will he reverse the anti-development policies that he has supported that has come from the previous Liberal government in order to unlock our production, power the world, and the paychecks here at home?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is the way the G7 oil reserve works. If you're an importer, you have to have an oil reserve. If you're an exporter, which Canada is under this government, if you have record exports, which Canada is under this government, that is how you supply the world. I salute the work of the Minister of Natural Resource and the Minister of Finance, working with G7 counterparts, confirmed with my G7 leader counterparts today to release 400 million barrels from that strategic reserve.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
To release 400 million barrels of oil from that strategic stockpile, how many of those are coming from Canada? Exactly 0. And the Prime Minister's excuse, the reason why we have no stockpiles, he says, is because we're a producer of oil. This is exactly the opposite of logic. The United States is a producer of oil. They have stockpiles. We have reserves, which the Prime Minister is successfully keeping in the ground. Just last week, we saw an $8 billion project canceled under his watch. We're importing gas from Australia. Why won't he get out of the way so we can produce our own energy?
Mr. Speaker, the member opposite thinks he's on a rich vein, but he's tapping a dry well. Under this government, production has never been so high. Exports have never been so high. We approve Bay du Nord. We are working with the province of Alberta to produce the lowest cost, lowest carbon oil and gas. We are expanding our exports. We are expanding our future.
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Member for Saint-Jean. Mr. Speaker, 85,000 seniors have been unable to access their old age security benefits since the new QRAM computer system was implemented. And Federal Government Employees Union is already referring to it as the new Phoenix. The cost overruns for the QRAM install are already close to $3 billion. This is 10 times more than SACLIC in Quebec, which caused a real scandal. And when we raise these issues, the minister accuses us of scaremongering. Is the Prime Minister taking the QRAM fiasco more seriously than his minister? And will he launch a commission of inquiry? The Honourable Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is the responsibility of Service Canada, and the facts are as follows. 7.7 million people who are having no problems with the software. It's working. There's
reports coming out that apparently there is no confirmed evidence of mines in the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what's floating around. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
To help these people. The Honourable Member for Saint-Jean. Mr. Speaker, QRAM is a financial fiasco, but also for thousands of seniors for which it is a human tragedy, for whom it is a human tragedy. We have people who are going into debt to pay for their groceries, their rent, their bills, and the government continues to defend its decision to replace an outdated system with one that just doesn't work. Worry and anxiety is what thousands of seniors have been feeling since QRAM was implemented. Will this government, and particularly the Prime Minister, take this situation seriously and be accountable for it? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we take this situation and all situations seriously because we are in government. The words do not equate to facts. It is not a financial fiasco. There is a budget. The QRAM software follows the budget. Thank you. The Honourable Member for Abitibi-Témiscamingue. Mr. Speaker, quite a banker. $5 billion in cost overruns on top of the human cost for our seniors. It was supposed to cost $1.5 billion, and it's not over yet. We know because it's always more of the same. The costs keep climbing. There are private firms and consultants who must be laughing all the way to the bank, counting their piles of cash, as if this government didn't have an obligation to manage public funds properly, as if no one were accountable. I'd like to hear from the Prime Minister, when will there be an independent public inquiry into the QRAM fiasco? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, it's curious. The government has already offered a briefing on this to the Bloc. No response from them. They haven't responded to the offer of a briefing. There have been discussions in committees. Yes, it's quite interesting, isn't it? So it's a good idea to have a discussion prior to an investigation or an inquiry.
Honourable member for...
Years, the Liberals have known that there are hundreds of Iranian regime officials here in Canada. 239 had their visas cancelled, and we just learned that the government managed to remove exactly one of those. Their excuse? They might claim asylum, there are no flights to Iran, we must protect their privacy. Meanwhile, an Iranian-Canadian critic of the regime has gone missing, and police are now investigating that as a homicide.
Absolutely insane.
Why are the Liberals protecting terrorists, and when will the minister finally have them removed? Good.
Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, let's be very clear. Those who are senior members of the IRGC will be removed, Mr. Speaker. As we speak right now, there's 28 individuals who are facing removal, who are going through due process, and they will be removed, Mr. Speaker. But let's also be very clear that if the party opposite wants more information, the leader of the opposition can go get a security check, and we'll be more than glad to provide the requisite information for them to be accurate in their analysis, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, the minister knows there are 700 IRGC agents in this country. And those are just the ones we know about. The minister knows that dissidents are being threatened. He knows that activist businesses are being shot out, and he knows that intimidation is happening under his watch. And yet, after 3.5 years, the Liberals have deported exactly one of those terrorists. So will the minister commit to returning to this House within 1 week with a plan to expel more than just one regime activist?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Canada Border Service Agency is working diligently to ensure the safety and security of Canadians, including the removal of 28. Those are going through the process of being removed, Mr. Speaker. Canada has identified the IRGC as a listed terrorist entity under Canadian law. We have listed Iran as a state sponsor of terrorism. We will continue to ensure the security of Canadians by removing those who are inadmissible, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Calgary knows.
They need to fire that guy.
Naziri ran the Iranian regime's hardline propaganda newspaper and held other very senior positions within the Iranian regime. Yet the Liberals let him enter Canada on a visitor visa, and then they let him stay here. Earlier today, the minister claimed that Global News' reporting was false and that there aren't 700 Iranian agents in Canada. So I'll ask the minister to be clear. How many senior Iranian officials like Mahdi Naziri are in Canada?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, there are 28 current ongoing investigations that are going through our legal system, and they are deemed to be senior members of the IRGC. Canada Border Service Agency is taking diligent effort to have them removed. But let's also be clear, we need to work with facts, Mr. Speaker. 700 IRGC members is not facts. It is contrived by the Conservative Party. But I will more than glad to offer a briefing to the leader of the opposition if he gets a security clearance, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Calgary Knowles Hill.
The reality is that that number was reported by a credible Canadian news outlet. The minister won't answer how many are here, and there's a loophole. There is a loophole in the law that allows senior propagandists, senior officials of the Iranian regime, like Mahdi Naziri, to stay in Canada. And the Liberals are just letting this happen. They're letting the IRB say, yep, senior propagandists, Iranian officials who subjugate women stay in Canada. The law needs to change. Will the minister agree to our common sense Conservative proposal to table within a week a plan to review these loopholes and ensure that officials are deported?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, there are some important pieces of legislation that are now going through the House for which the opposition has been filibustering and obstructing, Mr. Speaker. What we need right now is to be able to work together to ensure the safety and security of Canadians. The Canada Border Service Agency is working diligently on the removal of 28 individuals who are believed to be members of the IRGC. They will continue to investigate other credible information that goes to them, and we will continue to ensure the safety and security of Canadians.
Member for Kamloops, Thompson Nicola.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians have compassion over world events, and sometimes those world events spill onto Canadian streets. Such is the case with the situation in Iran. 3 synagogues in Toronto shot up within the last few days. 1 Iranian dissident kidnapped, and it's now a homicide investigation. Only 1 Iranian regime official has been deported. So the question is this: will the Liberals agree to table a plan within the next week to show Canadians how they will deal with this Iranian issue so Canadians can walk their streets safely?
Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, my honourable colleague raised a number of issues in his question. One is the reality that many communities are facing when it comes to violence committed against their community of faith. We are all aghast at the horrors of the shooting that's taken place against synagogues in Canada over the last number of weeks. But it's important that we take action to actually provide solace to the communities who are facing such serious public safety threats. This includes funding to help protect the institutions where people practice their faith and pray, but it also includes legislative efforts that will more severely punish hate crimes in this country, including hate crimes committed against communities of faith. Members of this House have an opportunity to support the Combating Hate Act to help provide such protection to communities. I hope we can count on theirs.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals have known for years that there are Iranian regime agents that are here in Canada, yet this week we learned that they've deported only 1 of the 230 cancelled visa holders. And representatives of the Liberal government told the Standing Committee on Immigration they couldn't remove Iranian regime officials because they were allowed to apply for asylum and that their privacy had to be protected. Well, what is the plan to deport these scoundrels from our country? The Honourable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Public Safety just expressed exactly what is being done to remove these individuals who are suspected of these actions. I would urge the colleague to support our Bill C9, which is before the House in our election platform. If I'm not mistaken, also in theirs, we committed to protecting communities of faith, temples, synagogues, mosques in Canada. Legislation is before this House. Will the member opposite and his colleagues vote in favor of this very electoral commitment they have? The member for Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. What we've heard from the Minister of Public Safety is very little compared to what he actually needs to get done. But today we submitted some clear plans to the government. We're asking for the government to urgently enforce deportation orders against Iranian regime agents, assess the level of terrorist threat in Canada that hasn't been changed since 2014, stop approving any asylum applications without a face-to-face interview. Will the government table a plan in the next 7 days to take action against this Iranian regime here in Canada? Yes or no? Mr. Speaker, the government has designated that segment of the Iranian community as a terrorist entity. The Minister of Public Safety is taking serious measures to respond to the situation underway. But I repeat my question to the honourable colleague. He committed, like I did, like all of us, to protecting communities of faith in Canada, community centres, Jewish businesses and Muslim businesses, the temples, synagogues. Mr. Speaker, will the member and his colleagues answer yes, say yes to these communities? The honourable member for Mirabel. Mr. Speaker, the people of Terrebonne are concerned about expropriations related to the high-speed rail project, and they're right. Because in Bill C-15, the Liberals weakened the Expropriation Act specifically to limit the rights of landowners along the train route. The mayor of Terrebonne is demanding real public consultations. The Lanaudière UPA fears that our best farmland will be split in two and then abandoned. Everyone's concerned. Why are the Liberals facilitating expropriations and treating Terrebonne residents like second-class citizens instead of working to gain social license? The Honourable Minister of Transport. Mr. Speaker, the high-speed rail project is dream-worthy. It is a dream for residents in Terrebonne. It's dream-worthy for entire communities through Quebec and Ontario. We're going to be able to radically change things for the people in these regions. 40% of Canadians including in Terrebonne, are for it. We will be respecting standards and ensuring social acceptability or license for sure, but we will certainly be moving forward with the high-speed rail in Canada. The honourable member for Mirabel. Mr. Speaker, while the minister is dreaming over there to try to reassure people of Terrebonne, it's...
All right. I've had enough of that. Let's go over here. Wrong stream. This one here.
X. The U.S. military, they say, is delivering devastating power against the Iranian regime. We will not stop until the military objectives are met. Those are the objectives we just talked about a moment ago. Oh, my good Lord. 5,500 targets struck inside of Iran, including 60
I'm going to grab some
ships.
water. I'll be right back.
Okay. Can we do some math here? Bear with me here. Ladies and gentlemen, in 10 days, 5,500 targets have been struck inside of Iran. What does that mean? Divide that by 10. Every single day of this war, we have struck 550 targets per day, 24 hours in a day. That's 23 strikes per hour, 60 minutes in an hour. That is one strike every 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the United States. I don't even think we're not even talking about Israel here. This is the U.S. exclusively. Every 3 minutes of every day, every hour of every day for the last 10 days, we have carried out one targeted strike on Iran. Every 3 minutes. That pace is unheard of. There has never been a conflict ever in all of world history, human history, where there has been a more aggressive campaign than this. The pace is just unrelenting. It really is astounding. It's astounding. I don't think that anybody would have expected a pace like this. We have a report coming out of Israel. Israel assesses that President Trump is not close to instructing an end to the war, according to 2 Israeli officials that spoke to Reuters. A senior Israeli official also acknowledged that there is no certainty the war will lead to the collapse of Iran's clerical regime. So perhaps we are not going to have regime collapse. Perhaps the objective now is just to bomb them so hard that the Iranian regime some of them might still be sticking around by the end of this thing, that they will be unable to do anything to mount a retaliation or an offense or do anything because we have so sufficiently bombed them into the ground. All the drones, all the bombs, all the manufacturing facilities, everything, the leadership facilities, the bunkers, the complexes, all of it, destroy all of it and then leave. That might be where this is going here, as a heads up. That might be where this is going.
Okay, I think another strike just hit Beirut. Hold on. Let's take a look here.
We just heard a boom. On the Beirut feed, we just heard a boom. Was there a strike? There may have been a strike. The camera's panning over. The camera's panning over. The camera's looking around. We heard a boom, but the camera's still looking. Is it seeing smoke? Is there smoke coming up? Yeah,
that
there does
is smoke.
appear to be.
So not on camera, but another strike in Beirut nonetheless. Let's go back here.
Quote, "We haven't finished the job in Iran yet. Tonight, we are going to hit them hard." The job is not over yet. This is President Trump 2 hours.
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest. They've said this every night. Just being real. Pete Hegseth, Trump, whoever. Guys, tonight we're going to hit them hard. You've been hitting them hard every night. Just saying. You've been flatlining them, apparently.
A couple hours ago, in fact, has approved the release of 400 million barrels of crude oil reserves in an effort to keep oil prices low, to lower oil prices. This is the largest emergency release of crude oil in history. It's never been done at this volume before. 400 million. Okay, can we put that into context here? Well, 400 million barrels of crude oil equates to 19 days worth of Persian Gulf oil exiting the Strait of Hormuz. Under normal conditions, how oil is coming out of the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz, well, this release, 400 million, equates to 19 days worth of Persian Gulf oil coming out of the Strait under normal conditions. Now, what's more, I want to share some information with you guys. Let's pull up Google Maps here. This is Saudi Arabia, and this is the United Arab Emirates. We're going to have those up here right in the middle. Both the Saudis and the Emiratis actually have some smaller pipelines that regularly are not actively used, but they exist nonetheless. And the Saudis and the Emiratis are now going to be using these smaller pipelines to redirect oil from the Persian Gulf all the way across into the Red Sea. Ultimately meaning, check this out, this number is important. Ultimately meaning, by nature of diverting this oil, they can't divert 100% of it. The pipes aren't big enough. They don't have enough pipes. But what they are able to do is divert right around 40% of Persian Gulf oil that is now 40% that's going to be redirected to the Red Sea. So it's better than nothing. That's 40%. That's better than a punch in the eye. What's more, right now, it is estimated that right this very moment, here's the Hormuz. At this very moment, the best guesses suggest that right around 6% of regular Persian Gulf oil is still making its way through the Hormuz.
Bro, Kick has been pissing me off recently. I don't know what's going on with the audio, but it keeps refreshing on its own, and it'll just randomly start playing my stream. I clicked on the Kick front page, and it just started playing a random guy's stream. What the fuck are we doing here?
In total, as things currently stand, the Iranian regime, you've got 40% routing out this way, another 6% still making their way through the Hormuz. What that means is that as things currently stand, the Iranian regime has only been able to shut down right around 11% of the world's global oil supply. 11%, because keep in mind, under normal circumstances, 20% of the world's oil supply comes out of the Persian Gulf. That's the normal dynamic. And so now the Iranian regime has shut down about 11% of the total oil supply, which is still not good. It's not ideal, to say the least, but it's not exactly this economic catastrophe, economic doomsday that many people had originally expected. You saw on last Saturday.
Kick just did it again. I don't know why. It was hard to hear because the volume was low. I'm just gonna. We're turning Kick off. There we go. No more Kick. Let's move over to this right here.
From the front lines there. And President Trump is working to defend one of the world's most important oil shipping lanes from attacks. Iran's regime is targeting ships in the Strait of Hormuz. These images show the aftermath of a strike on a cargo vessel there that burst into flames. The Revolutionary Guard claims to have struck 2 vessels in the strait. CENTCOM released this dramatic new video. It shows U.S. forces striking and sinking several of what it says are Iran's mine-laying ships, trying to plant bombs in that important waterway. The president, with this very strong warning for Iran's regime, he posted this, quote, "We want them removed immediately. If for any reason mines were placed and they are not removed forthwith, the military consequences to Iran will be at a level never seen before." Now, here's a former top White House national security official on that.
The president showing he is not going to tolerate the Iranians holding international maritime traffic hostage as part of this cat and mouse game they're playing.
Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin's tracking all of this, and she's got more. Hey, Jen.
Hi, Shannon. Well, President Trump can order the military to open the Strait of Hormuz, but it may not be that easy. It is a slow and tedious process to demine the strait if the IRGC Navy continues to lay mines, and they have thousands of drones that can threaten ships, as well as some submarines that can hide at the bottom of the seabed near the 2-mile opening. This is what the U.S. military expected to happen in the Strait if the Iranian regime felt it was facing an existential threat. Iran has claimed responsibility for firing projectiles at 2 container ships. A third was seen on fire today at the mouth of the Strait. Its crew had to abandon the ship. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs said that he and the other military leaders at the Pentagon are studying the feasibility of sending naval escorts for commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. But this is easier said than done because the Iranians can literally drop a few mines at a time off the back of small dhow boats, and any U.S. destroyer that would escort an oil tanker is a large target for the Iranian Shahed drones.
We'll look at the range of options to set the military conditions to be able to do that. And then, like we always do with every potential mission, come to the Secretary and the President with both what are the resources required, what is the command and control required, and what are the risks, and how do we mitigate those risks.
In other words, it's not happening yet. Yesterday, we learned that Iran had placed about a dozen mines in the Strait. Last night, CENTCOM announced it had...
We have another strike in Beirut.
MDA says medics and paramedics provided... hold on, what happened? The cameras... Boom! Another strike in Beirut. There's another one in Beirut. The camera, you heard a boom. Hold on. Another one.
Oh, wow.
We just heard another one. We heard 2. We just heard 2 booms. But we're not didn't see any flashes. We just heard 2 booms, it sounded like. Now, I don't think that orange area is new. You can see the camera moving around there. Maybe that's new? I don't know.
That's definitely new.
We just heard 2 of them.
That's definitely new.
You could hear it.
It was clearly the calm before the storm. There was like a few days of just kind of nothing, and now it's all kicking up again.
Had blown up 16 Iranian mine-laying boats, but the Iranians have more, and those 50 naval warships that CENTCOM has sunk were part of Iran's Blue Navy, not the IRGC Navy small fast boats which can threaten the Strait.
If we start to break... Holy shit, these strikes were huge, guys. Hold on. These strikes were huge.
Is there smoke somewhere else? And there's smoke down there, too. 2 new airstrikes by Israel in the Beirut
region.
In southern...
The entire area was just boom, boom, boom.
In Beirut, there you have the 2 new columns of smoke.
That's a big strike. Holy shit.
Feel better, Miss Curvy. Thanks, Johannes V93, Alaskan Lost, Just Some Kiwi Lad. Prep Mom. Thank you, Prep Mom. Lidwine Elizabeth.
Doing
thank you.
8-hour
Lidwine does not
long
like the sound of the animals. Not hearing any right now.
I think Matt Morris is ripping his chat apart right now. I think he was just going off.
We're back on the regular grind. And folks, what I want to do now is actually pull up our super chats, and I want to see what you, fine ladies and gentlemen, have had to say.
Or maybe he's going back to the way his streams were before. Maybe that's what he was doing. I don't know. He was going off, though. Anyway, we're pretty close to wrapping up this stream here. I'll leave it on agenda free for a few more minutes, and then I'm probably going to call it. And then I obviously will be live again at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
On Twitch, and Meat Missile on Twitch, and Leisure321 in Twitch. On Twitch. So new airstrikes in Beirut against what Israel would call Hezbollah targets. I'm guessing, because Israel said it is. Look at the 2. There's the two new airstrikes, the 2 smoke columns.
Here we go. Now, again, this is from the New York Times, so take it with a grain of salt. Colin Rugg says the United States is responsible for the strike on the Iranian elementary school. An ongoing military investigation has found, according to the New York Times. Now, that the key there is according to the New York Times. Iranian officials say 175 people were killed, most of them being children. Officers at U.S. CENTCOM created the target coordinates for a strike using outdated data provided by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the New York Times has reported. The location of the elementary school was formerly part of an adjacent Iranian base, the investigation found. Horrific. The video is from NBC News. Now, again, I'm not saying I believe this, by the way, because it's from the New York Times. And also, we're getting quotes from Iranian officials. Regardless if it's true or it's not, it's out there. And this is not good. None of this is good. None of these, the optics for this are very bad. And
I've been saying that from day one. Regardless, this is not good. But the fact that it is coming from Iranians, there's a lot of propaganda going around. Anyway, that's going to do it for the 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time stream. Like I said before, I will be live again at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, it's really bad if that's true. But anyway, that's going to do it for right now. I will be live later. Adios, everybody. Thank you for joining on YouTube, Rumble and Kick.
Trump needs to wrap this thing up very quickly, because if he doesn't, this is the type of stuff that can absolutely linger and stay with you no matter what you accomplish. Generally speaking, United States people do not like ongoing war.